Give it about 30 seconds. See if the link is up. It's late. Should be less people using the intrawebs. Should be able to come in pretty easily. They're taking these streams down faster and faster. I looked at somebody's stream, went back to look at it again tonight or later tonight. Maybe it was already after midnight. It was gone. Anybody saying anything that's anti what they want to hear, it ain't like it's anti-government, anti-this, anti. It's just anti what they want to hear. They pulling that shit down. So we've got to be mindful of how we speak to one another. Had a great discussion, family. About this particular situation. Juneteenth is just not a celebratory thing for everybody. I mean, it reminds me of like when they used to have the all school parties. They never worked. You have a party at your school, they have a party at their school. When they pulled the all school party thing together, it never worked. Because motherfuckers came from other schools that shouldn't have came there. Actually, they had already been expelled from those schools, and they came there and started shit. That's what this is going to be. We don't need people that don't belong at the party. And really, we don't need to be having a party. Why are we having a party about slaves being freed? Why are we having a party? But I said, what you doing up, girl? I said it was symbolic at best. It was symbolic. Now, you ain't got to listen to me. Just listen to the white man. It's coming. It's late. I guess it don't want to do its job either.
And if you were surprised that all Republican senators who are simultaneously whipping up a moral panic about race and education would endorse such a holiday, listen very closely to how John Cornyn of Texas explained his reasoning earlier today.
I think everybody saw this as something that would be an important symbolic gesture and a way to reach out to people of different races and to say, I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated within the African American community around the country, an important symbolic gesture and a way to reach out to people of different races and to say, I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated within the African. This is something that would be an important symbolic gesture and a way to reach out to people of different races and to say, I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated within the African American community around the country, in Texas and elsewhere. But frankly, this is something I think all Americans can celebrate, and hopefully this will promote greater understanding. I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated within the African American community around the country, in Texas and elsewhere. But frankly, this is something I think all Americans can celebrate, and hopefully this will promote and just
explain his reasoning earlier today.
I think everybody saw this as something that would be an important symbolic gesture and a way to reach out to people of different races and to say, I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated within the African American community around the country, in Texas and elsewhere. But frankly, this is something I think all Americans can celebrate, and hopefully this will promote greater understanding. I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated within the African American community around the would be an important symbolic gesture and a way to reach out to people of different races and to say, I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated within the African American community around the country. An important symbolic gesture and a way to reach out to people of different races and to say, I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated within the African American community around the country, in Texas and elsewhere. But frankly, this is something I think all Americans can celebrate, and hopefully, this will promote greater understanding into the history.
All Americans can celebrate. Reach out to other races. Symbolic gesture. So it's a symbolic gesture for us, and it's an opportunity to reach out to other races to show that we were freed, and this is for all Americans to celebrate. All Americans don't get to celebrate the fact that we were freed, and what other races need to understand that we were freed, and now we need a symbolic gesture that we were freed. If you want to give me a symbolic gesture of freedom, give me reparations. Repair my people. See, I be on that different shit because y'all be on that different shit. Y'all want to dance and sing and shout. It's symbolism. You want to paint murals, paint walls, paint the ground. Symbolism. What is it going to do for our people besides give us more symbolic gestures? Ain't y'all tired? Ain't y'all tired of symbolic gestures? Symbolic gestures. He admitted it. And he's one that went for it. They want to jump all over the 14 representatives that didn't vote for it. I want to commend them. Because I know they probably bigots. I realize that. They probably bigots to their soul, so they didn't want no part of it. But actually, they came out on the right side of history where I'm concerned. The 14 representatives that voted against it, I salute you, motherfuckers, even though I know you probably racist or bigoted. I don't know how much money y'all got, but the fact that you got more than me, yeah, I know you at least a bigot. You might be racist. I salute them. I don't need somebody to celebrate the day that we were free. Final day. They did this shit back in 1862, 1863. But then motherfuckers kept slaving. They kept slaving. Then you got to understand that June 19th, 1865 ain't shit to Delaware, ain't shit to Kentucky. Guess who's from Delaware? There's a couple people on this motherfucker tonight. Does anybody know who's from Delaware? Just take a guess who's from Delaware. I'll give you 3 guesses and the first 2 don't count. Who's from Delaware? Delaware. If you're up, you should at least know who's from Delaware. And Delaware is one of the 2 states, the 2 last states to give up slavery. Biden. Then you got Bitch McConnell. He's from Kentucky. From Kentucky. So the 2 people who've opposed black people the most for the last damn near half a century, coincidentally, their states were the last 2 states to stop slaving. Biden. If you don't like it, Biden. Remember that joke y'all was telling? Your president comes from a state. One of the 2 final states to crack a whip Nah, they didn't stop on June 19th, 1865, like the other states stopped. I mean, they definitely didn't stop in 1862, and they didn't stop in 1863. So they didn't even stop in June 19th, 1865. Didn't stop till December of 1865. Kept on slaving. Bitch, get out my fucking blind spot with a fucking dog up in the front seat. You don't get the fuck out of here? Who the fuck has a dog out at motherfucking 3 o'clock in the morning? Damn near 4 o'clock. Take that dog home. That dog probably looking at you like man, what the fuck am I out here for? Sitting up in the front seat. That dog look mad as a motherfucker. Like, you done got me up out of this bitch at 4 o'clock in the morning. That could be a breakup. You generally don't see dogs in the car late night, early morning. That might be a breakup. They might be going somewhere. Or they might just be riding around till daylight. I don't know. Biden, McConnell, come from the 2 states that held on to slavery the longest. I mean, it's ridiculous to think that you're going to enslave us, then come to the party with us. Yeah, I'm against the parties, but now you get to sit with us? You get to come to the party with us? Man, I'm sure glad my ancestors freed y'all niggas. I'm sure glad, man. We can hang out and shit here together, drink Kool-Aid and shit, eat barbecue. I appreciate it. Let me see some white people at some Juneteenth celebrations around Washington County. I'm clowning all y'all. I'm clowning all y'all. Let me see you all hugged up with some Caucasian folk at the Juneteenth celebration. Come on, man. Look, my former master. Can I get you some chicken, former master? Can I get you some Kool-Aid, former master? We got some good macaroni and cheese, former master. They gonna catch somebody too. They gonna catch somebody. They gonna catch somebody handing a plate that's just got a heaping helping of fried chicken, fried fish, barbecue, greens, macaroni and cheese, topped off with a frothing buttery biscuit. And she gonna have that back arm fat. You know, if they got that back arm fat, you know they can cook. That's where the flavor come in at. That back arm flat with that little dimple in the elbow. She gonna be handing that plate to former massa, and they gonna take that shot. Black woman, white man, handing a plate of food to him on Juneteenth. I'm waiting for that picture. I'm waiting for that picture. It's coming. Please don't have a bonnet on your head. Please don't have a bonnet on your head. Oh yeah, it's coming. The pictures of a big, stout black woman handing the whitest of white men, probably gonna be Joe Biden. You know Joe gonna sign this. He on his way back. He on his way back from Putin kicking his ass. So he gonna sign this bill so he can make sure he can get his celebratory Juneteenth meal. He probably head on down there to Jimmy Clyburn. Jimmy Clyburn frying up some good fish. He frying up some good fish. Maybe we can get some of that half a loaf that Jimmy Clyburn said we need to accept. We can't get all the loaf. Just get half the loaf. Just get half the loaf, and then next time you come back and get the other half the loaf. Fuck out of here. This shit is the most insulting shit ever.
And if you were surprised, all Republican senators who were simultaneously whipping up a moral panic about race and education would endorse such a holiday. Listen very closely to how John Cornyn of Texas explained his reasoning earlier today.
I think everybody saw this as something that would be an important symbolic gesture and a way to reach out to people of different races and to say, I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated within the African American community around the country, in Texas and elsewhere. But frankly, this is something I think all Americans can celebrate, and hopefully this will promote greater understanding into the history.
Greater understanding into the history. And he's from Texas, and Texas is the #1 state that wants to have critical race theory taken out. You want us to understand Juneteenth, but you don't want us to understand why Juneteenth even exists. Can we understand that when all the slaves were freed, even the 2 states that held on the longest, Joe Biden's state, Mitch McConnell's state, how y'all were paid for not being able to own us anymore? Can we understand that logic? How you won't pay slaves, you won't pay descendants of slaves, but can we explain how that happened? Reparations was already given to slave masters. After they had already stole everything else, they were given reparations from the insurance companies. The insurance companies paid slave masters for losing their slaves legally. You know, I can see if they say, you know, we're going to pay y'all because your runaway slaves didn't come back. You had your slaves insured, but they're not slaves anymore. How do you pay for people that, I get the whole ownership thing, but now that's not legal anymore. But it's still legal enough for you to pay motherfuckers? That's like me totaling out my car and me waiting for my check, and they say, oh, you know what? We don't pay for totals no more. We don't pay for totals no more. But we gonna give you yours. How'd I be so lucky? Everybody else gonna get theirs? They paid that claim, but they never paid any claim to anybody. They got burnt out, ran out, flushed out. In Tulsa, insurance companies didn't pay that. They didn't pay that. But they paid when slavers lost slaves legally. You're not going to make me agree with this one bit. And I know several people are going to come at me today talking about it's a time to celebrate. No, it's not. They're not invited to my party. You can't come. You're not invited. I can't have thugs at my party. And I know ain't nobody on this soil enslaved nobody but ancestral thugs. Ancestral thugs. This is not a good look. Symbolic gesture. A symbolic gesture. I know something that's going to hit the news real tough today and over the next couple of days, but Jeff Bezos' wife out giving away a whole bunch of money. She giving up a whole bunch of money. She out just giving up some cheese. And she dropped off a little bit in Motown. At Motown. She giving them $5 million. Motown. Because they're doing the renovation to the Motown Museum. So we need to keep the music going. Hitsville. The sound of America. The sound of America. They getting $5 million from Bezos' ex-wife. And they ain't even gotta pay it back. It's not a loan. It's a gift. $5 million. And they happy as shit over on West Grand Boulevard. But you gotta think about it. Why would Motown need money? Why would Motown need money? If Motown would have made that, because it was never going to make records again, if they would have made that historical museum a profitable place, and hell, bought up all the shit around it, had restaurants and shops and all kinds of shit, they wouldn't need no motherfucking gift from Jeff Bezos' wife. Jeff Bezos' wife wasn't thought of when Motown came. How old is she? Let me see how old Jeff Bezos' wife is, or ex-wife. I think she done got remarried. Or one of them got remarried. Bezos. Mackenzie. How old is Mackenzie? She got her own Wikipedia? Yeah. Mackenzie is, she my age. She 51. I was born in 1970. Motown was made in 1959. She wasn't even around when Motown was started. Yeah, she remarried already. She didn't wait long. She married Bezos in 93, divorced him in 19, got married to a new dude in 21. Yeah, I bet you they knew each other long before, too. He didn't just run up on her on eHarmony. He knew who the fuck she was. Yeah. They have 4 children, 3 sons and 1 daughter adopted from China. Now, I don't know if that's 3 sons and 1 daughter and they're all from China, or if the 1 daughter is adopted from China. Why people go to China to adopt kids? I mean, I know they got a population issue over there and they do the population control. We got a lot of kids in America that need adopting. And she did the natty thing. She divorced that motherfucker. She just took her name off. I didn't know that, Fred. I didn't know her name was Mackenzie. We don't talk much about our kids' names. Yeah. We keep falling for the banana in the tailpipe.
And if you were surprised that all Republican senators who are simultaneously whipping up a moral panic about race and education would endorse such a holiday, listen very closely to how John Cornyn of Texas explained his reasoning earlier today.
I think everybody saw this as something that would be an important symbolic gesture and a way to reach out to people of different races and to say, I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated within the African American community around the country in Texas and elsewhere. But frankly, this is something I think all Americans can celebrate. And hopefully this will promote greater understanding into the history.
I'm so done with this shit. I'm so done with it. They got me feeling like Dr. Claude tonight. Well, this morning.
So I'm talking about giving black folk some money and some economics for the pain and suffering and the damage and economic and educational inflictions you put on them. You always got to have a damn study. That is an insight. I wish a white person would come to me and ask you, what do you think about a damn study? After you go study your mama. Don't come to me, ask me about a study.
Go study your mama. Oh, man. He's 88 years old and he still got fired. Go study your mama. But I ain't laughing. I ain't laughing at this Juneteenth shit. I love the unapologetic mentality of elders. Go study your mama. It's an insult. It's an insult. I mean, shit. If Dr. Claude is 88, he's 88 or 86. Let's just say 80. He's born in 1940. He's probably into the 30s. Probably born into the 30s. Yeah, he's born into the 30s, actually. So if his people had him when they were 30, his grandmother was a slave. His grandfather was a slave. Whereas we talk about great-grandfathers and great-great-grandmothers and whatever, you know, his grandmother and grandfather were slaves. And his mother and father, they were the help. They were freedmen. We don't have anything else out here. And I appreciate y'all kicking it. I just been in the dark because I was driving. We don't have nothing else out here but our history, but our narratives. But if we continue to want to have them broken down to just symbols, this is where we're going to be. Always on the outside looking in. He talking about gain some understanding into the history in the very state that they don't want to talk about the history. And as far as Joe Biden goes, don't you know Joe Biden knows that Delaware is one of the 2 last states to give up slaves? Delaware, not Mississippi, not Louisiana, not Alabama, not Florida, not Texas. Delaware. Delaware held on to the very end, December 6, 1865. We'll see. I'll wait for my cause because goddamn it, let me go see who's organizing Juneteenth events. I bet you we got a ton of white people around here organizing Juneteenth events. Chairman of the boards. Yep. What can I do to help? Nothing. One love, y'all.